Welcome to this edition of News Today, a series where we briefly discuss and analyze important news of the day. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. Western Ghats regions are witnessing an alarming rate of soil erosion, IIT Bombay study presented. Central Pollution Control Board report to National Green Tribunal shows 80% environmental funds remain unutilized. Archaeological Survey of India has decided to delist 18 centrally protected monuments. Reserve Bank of India finalized the omnibus framework for recognizing self-regulatory organizations for regulated entities. Interactive Entertainment and Innovation Council and Winzo released India Gaming Report 2024. India supports Philippines in upholding its national sovereignty of the issues of South China Sea, says the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. Let us start with the first news for the day. Western Ghats regions are witnessing an alarming rate of soil erosion, IIT Bombay study presented. A study was conducted between 1990 and 2020 using the data from Landsat 8 and rainfall records. Let us first understand about the Western Ghats. Ghats are about 1600-kilometer long chain of mountains running parallel to India's western coast. It spreads across 6 states: Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Talking about its significance, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the 36 biodiversity hotspots on Earth. It is recognized as one of the world's 8 hottest hotspots. Furthermore, it is the best representative of non-equatorial tropical evergreen forests. And lastly, it acts as a barrier to the eastward moving clouds during monsoon. Coming back, now let us have a look at the key findings of the study. The portion of Western Ghats region in Tamil Nadu and Gujarat registered 121% and 119% increase in soil erosion respectively. Moreover, across the whole of Western Ghats region, the increase in erosion rate was 94%. If we talk in absolute terms, Maharashtra had the highest 79 ton per hectare per year soil loss in 2020, while Kerala had the lowest loss. In the study, few causes have been identified for erosion. Those are rainfall erosivity factor or rainfall's potential to cause soil erosion has increased. Steep slopes and high rainfall. Climate change and unsustainable land use is another factor for soil erosion. Cultivation of tea and coffee also leads to soil erosion. Increased soil erosion raises concerns like threat to the biological diversity, lower agricultural productivity and reduced water quality across Western Ghats. To overcome these issues, few protection measures have been taken. Those are formation of Gadgil Committee and Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan Committee to assess Western Ghats ecology. Western Ghats Natural Heritage Management Committee was established under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And lastly, number of protected areas like tiger reserves, national parks and wildlife sanctuaries have also been established.
In another news, Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) report to National Green Tribunal shows 80% environmental funds remain unutilized. Despite collecting a total of Rs 777.69 crore through Environmental Protection Charge (EPC) and environmental compensation, CPCB has utilized only 20% of these funds. These funds were utilized for R&D on air quality, health impact studies, infrastructure development for air and water quality surveillance, remediation of contaminated sites, etc. CPCB receives compensation under 2 heads. First head is Environment Protection Charge (EPC), for which the dealer or manufacturer is required to pay 1% EPC for specified new diesel vehicles registered only in Delhi and NCR. It is received as per order of Supreme Court. Second is environmental compensation for protection of environment, which works on the polluter pay principle. It is received as per orders of NGT. Also, it is utilized to protect environment through strengthening of laboratories, monitoring network, projects in compliance of NGT orders, and capacity building of pollution control boards, etc. CPCB is a statutory body formed under Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974 and functions under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It is also entrusted with powers and functions under Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981.
In our next news, the Archaeological Survey of India has decided to delist 18 centrally protected monuments. The Archaeological Survey of India has invoked Section 35 of the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958 or AMASR Act to delist 18 centrally protected monuments. Section 35 allows the central government to declare that any monument of national importance has ceased to be of national importance. Under AMASR Act, MNIs are to be conserved and maintained by ASI as an important site pertaining to history and culture. Under the Act, any kind of construction-related activity is not allowed around a protected site. Talking about delisting, it effectively means that it will no longer be conserved, protected, and maintained by the ASI. Now let us get to know about the monuments that were delisted. These monuments are part of a list of 24 untraceable monuments out of 3,693 CPMs, which the Ministry of Culture submitted to Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture in 2022. The untraceable monument means a site that has been lost to activities such as urbanization encroachments and has no surviving public memory. These monuments include Coast Minar number 13 in Haryana, Barakhamba Cemetery in Delhi, Ganner Burkil's tomb in Jhansi, and Telia Nala Buddhist ruins in Varanasi and more. Now let us understand about the Archaeological Survey of India or ASI. Headquartered in New Delhi, the ASI was founded in 1861 by Alexander Cunningham and responsible for the archaeological research and conservation and preservation of cultural historical monuments in the country. It works under the Ministry of Culture.
Moving on to the next news. Reserve Bank of India finalized the Omnibus Framework for recognizing self-regulatory organizations, SROs, for regulated entities. Omnibus Framework contains broad parameters like objectives, responsibilities, eligibility criteria, governance standards, etc., which will be common for all SROs. Objectives of SROs include promoting compliance culture, supporting smaller entities, acting as collective voice of members, collecting sectoral information and encouraging R&D culture. An SRO shall be set up as a not-for-profit company registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. It should have adequate net worth, sufficiently diversified shareholding and must represent the sector. SRO shall have sufficient authority derived from membership agreements along with strong governance mechanisms. It shall develop standards for improving compliance culture and surveillance methods for sector monitoring. In terms of the responsibilities of SROs, for fulfilling its responsibilities towards members, it should promote best business practices, establish minimum conduct benchmarks, disseminate sector-specific information and dispute resolution or arbitration structure. And for regulator, it should ensure regulatory compliance, promote sector development, foster innovation and detect early warning signals. Lastly, for the governance framework, articles of association or bylaws shall provide for manner of functioning of governing body and specify the functions of SRO. At least 1/3 of members in board of directors, including chairperson, shall be independent. SROs should also be compliant with relevant acts, regulations, guidelines, directions, or circulars issued by RBI.
The Interactive Entertainment and Innovation Council and Winzo has released India Gaming Report 2024. First, let us have a look at its key findings. With 568 million users, India is officially the largest gaming market and accounts for every 1 in 5 online gamers globally. Indian gaming market is expected to reach $6 billion by 2028. Moreover, number of Indian gaming companies surged from 25 in 2015 to over 1,400 in 2023. Factors responsible for boost in the gaming industry have also been identified. Those are rise of affordable high-speed internet at the cost of $0.17 per GB, an increase in smartphone penetration as there are 820 million smartphone users in India now. The burgeoning share of young population of over 600 million and the rise in disposable income. And lastly, the supply side factors including global investment in game development, rewarding game career, vernacular language content and gamification of the Indian culture. Talking about the contribution of gaming to the society, it includes the reduction in social isolation and community building, especially for women gamers. Moreover, it also enhances the research, education and skilling. Though the gaming sector is also facing some challenges. Those are sustainability issues from internet pollution because internet generates about 3.7% of greenhouse gas emissions. And other challenges include financial literacy gaps, regulatory complexities and data security challenges. To overcome these challenges, few recommendations have also been provided. Utilization of green innovations and virtual environments for sustainable gaming, establishing a global gaming cluster with policy support, supporting startups and talent development, and prioritization of research and development for online safety and digital literacy. Lastly, let us also have a look at the government interventions for promotion of the gaming sector. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology acts as a nodal agency for online gaming regulations and development. Schemes like Make in India, Digital India, and Production Linked Incentive further promote self reliance of India. Animation, visual effects, gaming, and comic task force report draft National AVGC policy and National AVGC Center of Excellence. And lastly, other government intervention includes allowing 100% FDI in gaming sector and utilization of automatic route within electronic system and IT and BPM sectors.
Moving on to the next news. India supports Philippines in upholding its national sovereignty on the issue of South China Sea, says External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. India iterated its support to United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea 1982, regarding it as Constitution of the Seas. Both nations called for free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Let's take a look at India-Philippines bilateral relations. Philippines is part of India's Act East and both see China as common challenge. The nations also cooperate at Non-Alignment Movement and Association of Southeast Asian Nations. In terms of defense and security cooperation, BrahMos signed contract to supply BrahMos missile system to Philippines, and both countries have signed an MOU on defense industry and logistics cooperation. The bilateral trade accounts for US $3.05 billion in 2022-23. India is largest supplier of pharma products of Philippines, and Indian investments in Philippines are valued around US $5 billion. Philippines is beneficiary of India's capacity building program, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation. India also offers scholarships to students from Philippines under Study in India program. Indian community in the Philippines is estimated to be around 150,000, with Indian students going to Philippines to pursue medical studies. Lastly, in the field of humanitarian assistance, India supported Philippines in aftermath of Super Typhoon Haiyan 2013 and during COVID-19. The challenges in relation include untapped trade and investment relations and Philippines' fluctuating relationship with China. In today's Place in News, we will discuss Malaysia with its capital Kuala Lumpur. In recent developments, External Affairs Minister paid an official visit to Malaysia. Let's discuss its political features. It lies in Southeast Asia and shares land boundaries with Thailand in the west, Brunei in the north, Singapore and Indonesia in the south. It shares maritime borders with Vietnam and Philippines. And its surrounding water bodies include Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean and South China Sea. In terms of its geographical features, country occupies parts of Malay Peninsula and Borneo Island. It is separated by South China Sea into two regions, Peninsular Malaysia and East Malaysia. Strait of Malacca lies between Sumatra and Peninsular Malaysia. Its major rivers are Rajang, which is the longest, Kinabatangan and Pahang, and its highest peak is Mount Kinabalu.
As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. Supreme Court has highlighted the problem of affluent getting pre-trial injunctions from courts against the media and civil society, restricting free speech and public's right to information. According to bench, an injunction, particularly ex parte, without hearing all parties to a case, should not be granted without establishing that the content sought to be restricted is malicious or palpably false. Court also urged trial courts to take note of trend of strategic litigation against public participation suits, whereby entities with vast economic resources use litigation to prevent public from knowing about their operations involving public interest. A study has confirmed that lunar structure in low-lying Bani plains of the Gujarat's Kutch region is an impact crater. It is a 1.8 kilometer wide crater which was formed when a massive object primarily made of iron struck the planet. Lunar region was one amongst the several settlements linked to the ancient Harappan civilization. The Ministry of Rural Development has notified new wage rates for unskilled manual workers under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act on Manrega 2005. For the financial year 2024-25, Manrega gives legal guarantee of 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to adult members of a rural household who are willing to do unskilled manual work. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India releases 2023-24, the list of domestic systemically important insurers, or DSIIs. DSIIs refer to insurers of such size, market importance, and domestic and global interconnectedness, whose distress or failure would cause a significant dislocation in the domestic financial system. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has released recommendations on usage of embedded SIM for machine-to-machine communications. M2M communications refer to automated application which involves machines or devices communicating through a network without human intervention. Its sensors and communication modules are embedded within M2M devices. These enable data transfer from one device to another through wired and wireless communication networks. Ettunagaram Wildlife Sanctuary is currently witnessing forest fires. It is situated at near Warangal in Telangana and lies on the border of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. The rivers Dayam Vagu and Godavari flows through it. Two organizations, AgriRain and Urja, are providing irrigation as a service in a few selected parts of the country. Irrigation as a service is an irrigation technology that provides hassle-free, pay-per-use and cost-effective on-demand irrigation to small and marginal farmers. It functions on a subscription or pay-per-use basis, meaning farmers pay a fixed monthly fee or a fee based on water usage. A recent study has revealed that altitude and temperature play an important role in the development of aroma for the mushk buriji rice. It is an indigenous rice variety grown in the Kashmir Himalayas. It was on the verge of extinction due to rice blast disease, low yield and lack of profitability. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.